I asked this question from a few other people. I'm curious to know what you say about this. Is, you know, we're sitting here and we're strong arming China. We're negotiating with them, but at the same time, hey, we need some masks. Where's it made? China. Well, listen, we got to take it anyways. Hey, we need these ventilators. Take them anyways. Hey, we need this medicine. If they come out with a solution for coronavirus, well, China's 80% of pharma is built over there. Have we gone too far where the world is relying a little too much on China, and China knows it and uses that as leverage to negotiate and push people around?
100%, absolutely.
How do you get away from that?
Well, first of all, you go back to making tariffs permanent because they're human rights violators and they don't have a free market economy. You don't allow U.S. corporations to count assets held in China because they have a non-convertible currency and strict capital controls. You don't allow our retirement funds to invest in Chinese companies and Chinese bonds and stocks because we don't require them to be audited like we do U.S. companies. You basically just make the Chinese abide by all the same rules that Americans and American companies have to abide by here in the United States. And you do that with all our allies and partners. And when you do that, they don't have purchase, right? They have to compete on a level playing field. That's not what they're used to. They're used to getting their way. And we did that for a reason. We did that because we thought they would democratize. They would liberalize politically. They would become more like us. What they've created is a world that drives us to be more like them.
I asked you this question last time. I'm wondering if your answer has changed at all. Who needs who more? Is it U.S. needs China, or does China need U.S.?
The U.S. doesn't need China at all.
Got it.
Our economy does not derive, a majority of its value from China. It derives a majority of its value domestically. We have a very good consumption-based economy here in the United States, and but the Chinese economy absolutely is dependent on the United States and other democratic economies. And so theirs is an export-driven economy. So we don't need China at all. They absolutely need us.
If that's the case, why aren't we coming together on the same page and pushing them a little bit to say, hey, you got to open it up. And if you want us to be more comfortable, I want you to allow Facebook, YouTube, Twitter, social media, everybody in China, because we got to know what's going on there, because we don't trust any of your data.
Well, that's just not going to happen. The Chinese Communist Party is not going to do that. The reason our corporations and our investment banks are pushing for us to be there is because, the Chinese government subsidizes power to the factories. They allow them, through the inspectors, not to abide by environmental rules. You've got nets around the Foxconn plant because people jump out because of the intense, labor violations that are going on in China. So it's all the horrible things that we live through in our economy, but because we're a democracy, we put in labor laws and we put in environmental protections. We actually dealt with this kind of behavior. All of these corporations have gone over to China where the rules don't exist. The only rule is that the Chinese Communist Party stays in control. And that allows companies like Apple to have $260 billion in cash because their margins are incredibly steep because of those reasons. On the investment bank side, they get a fee for every Chinese stock and Chinese bond that's sold. And so they're more than willing to push it. You even saw with the coronavirus and the fact that trade war is on, you still got investment banks in Wall Street pushing Chinese stocks, saying this is where you need to invest. It really lets you know what's going on. The system is incentivized to provide the Chinese Communist Party with everything they need.
The system is incentivized to provide the Chinese Party with everything that needs. What does that mean?
That means we set the rules to benefit Chinese companies, and the Chinese companies and the government have taken advantage of those rules to be a predatory, or a better word, a parasitic economy on the United States and other democracies. And unless we cut those ties, it's just like if you have a tumor, the tumor continues to pull more and more blood from your body. The same thing that China will do. It will pull more and more blood from the American society.